Hello everyone, Crystal Fissure here, and welcome to another episode of ISGP Talk, the Crystal Fissure hosted web show, interview show, where I talk to some of the valued members of the International Spyro Grand Prix, the first tournament in the Spyro Tournaments banner. And today, I am joined by the man with a plan, the man who got every single one of his matches done before everyone else, well before basically everyone except for G4 Video 5, who was second place, so unfortunately does not get the merit that Zin here gets. So yeah, I know. It's a rivalry that didn't technically exist, but Zin technically wins. Welcome, Zin. How you going?
I'm doing fucking great. I'm glad to be
That's
here.
great.
Having a flashlight shine at me like this is a detective show over fucking son. I'm being put on the spot.
Yeah. This is brilliant. Yeah, I've got a Photoshop file on my other monitor here to add some subtle color grading here. So we got some real yin and yang shit right now. It's very, very cool. Well, actually more like yin and yin because we're both in light, but then we got different shading on us. But
also, we're
yeah,
using different techniques. You're using like Photoshop, and I'm actually using an actual flashlight in my face right now.
Yeah, it's practical effects versus quasi-practical effects or something. I don't even know what this is. It's brilliant though. It's brilliant. So I've got a few questions here for you that I've written up in about 5.5 seconds, but I think they're going to give us plenty to talk about. So you were the first person to finish all of your races in ISGP. Congrats. And what drove you to be so efficient? What drove you to be better than everyone else?
Well, to basically get a lot of the matches done, just get shit done. Because I'd rather make sure I get all my matches done immediately than wait on and leave it until like a few days later where shit starts slowing down, more people get inactive, because that definitely happened in our group where people started getting more and more inactive as the days went on. So it was better just getting it done when everybody's still there, still active, it's still fresh, and you know, just making sure that I can actually get all the matches done in time. And also so I don't get fucking nagged by you or Angus or Liam to actually do my fucking matches.
Yeah, like we have done with some others. Do you think though that in a way that could have been a slight detriment in terms of your skill level getting some of them done? Like, do you think that there's a match that you maybe could have actually won had you spent more time on it, or do you think that you did as well as you could have?
I think, well, with races, it's like you can't really determine if you're good to go with races. With speed runs, you can keep doing it over and over again, a lot of resets until you finally get the run you want. With a race, it's one go and one go only. And even if you've done a fuck ton of practice and you've gotten super good at it, much like as we've seen with Chris versus Katie, one slight big fuck up because of a misstep or whatever can cost you the run, and it did for Chris, who is extremely practice heavy. He knows all the shit stuff, and he lost to Katie because of a few mistakes. So anything can happen really, and for me, I just got unlucky. I did a whole bunch of tricks, tried to get all fancy with my bullshit and such, and even with not that much practice, regardless, I still would have been fucked anyway. I still would have ended up in a similar situation anyway, because practice or not, skilled or not, mistakes happen, nobody's perfect, and I just got unlucky with matches like Trob and such, where I could have won, definitely, but it just wasn't in the cards.
Yeah, no, that's fair enough. Yeah, I think that, I mean, and yeah, obviously you have had what would probably be considered the toughest group. So I think that there's probably not a whole lot you could do, just other than practicing quite quite sufficiently, and then even still you've got like years of experience of like two of the top people. So
pretty much, but
in a way, it's probably.
To be honest, I didn't mind the fact I lost because I still got close. I was still always at least 3 minutes behind at best. I was still always very close when I lost. So it wasn't that bad, because even though I lost, I still showed that I wasn't that far behind, and I didn't quit like most people. I actually kept going and finished my run.
Yeah, in which Yeah, and funnily enough, yeah, Fraser's quit, and not even quit. He just thought there's just no point. Fraser's quit against Chris actually cost him what was actually going to be a victory if he continued the run. If he actually just continued the run, he actually would have beat Chris because Chris did not beat Dr. Shemp. That was something that we actually found out about
honesty,
a day ago. We didn't even realize.
I think what people shouldn't ever do is just like quit the fucking run. Like, yeah, you might be like an hour behind or whatever, but just keep at it. Try and finish it anyway, because if you just quit, then there might be a chance that something went wrong with the other person you versed who finished first, like they missed something or whatever, and their run is basically invalid because of that, and you still could have won, like with Fraser and Christian. So really,
that's right.
Really, don't quit.
That's right.
That's my words on that.
That's wise words. So, how do you feel about Group A in general, the current standings, sort of, just the general look at your group? What's your sort of thoughts on it?
I think my group is definitely a tough bunch of motherfuckers. Katie and Chris are some of the best. Ratchet 5 has been pretty much regaining from his times of being a retired speedrunner of Spyro. And even some of the newbies, like Christian and Liam and such, have been very interesting and quite fun to verse against, including Keyford, even though I am a complete asshole to him. And just to state the record right now, because I know people are making those fanfics, me and him are not dating, and we're not gonna fuck. So just get rid of all those rumors.
Yeah, the rumor mill running wild on Key X Zin apparently.
It's a big
Keyford,
rumor mill.
Keyford has been a revelation in many ways.
He's
definitely an interesting member of the group.
Big memes of this tournament.
He has, but quite early in the sort of the scheme of things. Like he hasn't been as prevalent in the last few weeks, but he needs to get his last few races done, and I really do hope he gets to verse Fraser. That would be great, because I think that'd be a fun run, because they're both admittedly not too skilled, in a technical sense, like with skips and stuff like that. So that should be fun. But
well,
yeah,
to
I'm
be
looking
honest,
forward
with Lyle, his main goal is to basically be the one to lose all his matches, the first one to do that. Yeah. And he's not.
Yeah,
he's kind of slowed down in that in recent days. He hasn't been very active on doing that. But I'm still hoping for him to lose almost all his matches except for Trop, which I believe he's already done.
Yeah, that's right.
But yeah.
Yeah, so, I think that, I mean, there's a few matches that I do want to see, go up, for the group. Like, I guess that unlike, see, Group C is done in terms of its movement in the top 4. You can't go anywhere, even with some of the runs that are yet still to go up, basically. One more run goes up and it's it. Whereas Group A, I think, has potentially the most movement remaining because of a few critical matches that haven't gone up. Chris versus Ratchet is, as of yet, it may be up as the time this has gone up, but likely not. So that's very interesting. And so there's a few more Group A runs that need to be uploaded. You've got the conclusion. You've got Lyle versus Katie and Lyle versus Chris have happened. I was there. It was hilarious. So that's happened. So they're two of the 5 arguably really important races. Trop versus Liam is a hugely important race, but we'll get to some of that a little bit after. I want to just quickly now touch upon. Let's have a look. Some of your favorite matches, both for you, but also preference, some of the non-Zindictive races, some of the other races that you've seen.
Well, for matches involving me, obviously I'm not including me versus Keyford, because even though that was a fun little meme of a fucking run, everybody had their fun doing all the quotes on me and such, I honestly think it wasn't that fun after a while. I thought it was just sort of overdone. And, you know,
Yeah.
I was basically forcing my anger for the most part, trying to find every excuse to get pissed off at fucking Keyford to continue the meme.
Yeah.
And it just got really stale. And
That was
boring.
always my that was always my theory. I always thought that you were not as angry as what it actually looked.
However,
like.
I will say that when it comes to my matches, pretty much almost all the matches I've lost to, except for maybe Trop, because I wasn't very happy of how I did there. I could have done much better there.
Yeah.
But Ratchet 5,
Yeah.
Chris, Katie Lady, all these people that I versed there, all those matches I found to be very good, very exciting in a way, and very fun to deal with. Even though I've lost those by a few minutes, I found them to be pretty intense, even with Ratchet 5 and such, and I found them to be some of the most fun and best matches I've ever done in this tournament.
That's good to hear.
And as for just Group A tournaments in general that don't involve me, some of the matches that I've seen, like Fraser versus Ratchet, and Katie versus Chris, and even a lot of the Fraser and Lyle matches have basically been very entertaining, very funny, very fun, and sometimes even very intense and suspenseful.
They have.
And even surprising in the events that occurred and in who won and who lost, essentially. So I think that my group has had a lot of really good matches, really exciting and match of the week matches in a sense, as we have seen so far.
Of course.
And I'm glad to have been in this group. I honestly think it has been the best group in terms of quality of matches and in terms of the runners.
Yeah, fair assessment. So what about your thoughts on Group B and Group C? We'll start with Group B first.
Group B, let me just quickly scroll down to that. With Group B, I mean, I'm not a fan of Hangus, as some might know. But I do find Nguyen, who came in later on in the tournament, to be a really good runner, honestly. Not the best.
Yeah, he's been excellent.
But I think he's one of the top 5, definitely.
Definitely top 5.
Luke, I think he is basically at 5th place of top 5. I don't think he is the best. He has been rusty of Spyro, I know that much. He's been regaining them much like Ratchet 5, and I think he's been doing fairly well in that regard. And when it comes to a lot of the matches in Group B with people like Muddy, Desert Monkey JK, who also came in later on, G4, and even James Jones, who also started doing his matches later on. I think all these guys have been quite interesting. Some of their matches have been very good, and people like James Jones have been very interesting sort of people, as I have found out.
Definitely the Bizarro group.
The races where he apparently plays the fucking games on a goddamn web browser. What the fuck?
Oh, it's just too good. It's just too good. Like, you could not make up a more hilarious competitor. In essence, he's probably permanently banned because you just can't play it on the emulator. Like, there are points where it just looks like he's taking the fucking piss.
He knows to search my fucking email for shit, but doesn't know how to fucking use the emulator correctly. The fuck?
The whole that. Oh, that's right. Yeah, when you thought he tried to dox you, that was brilliant.
I know.
Yeah.
He's still fucking creep for looking up info on that shit.
Oh, it's just it's classic
and
James Jones, a gem.
He's really creep, fucking dickhead.
Oh man, that's good. You know, I wouldn't mind seeing you versus Nguyen in Spyro 3, because I know that's his weaker game. So hey, we do plan on doing this is a sort of a soft announcement, because I know that retention rate wise, 14 minutes in, a lot of you probably aren't watching, but this is a sort of a general announcement that we will be doing depending on the delays between round 2 and the final and stuff like that, and Chris and Katie's San Francisco barbecue schedule, we will be doing some exhibition runs. So before I talk about Group C, if you could face anyone else or do a 3-way match or a 4-way match against anyone else in the tournament who would you choose to face? Because that is very likely a possibility we could see, kind of as a promotion for this rumored tag thing, which I've been hearing things about. Wink, wink.
Well, if it was a 4-man match, a fucking exhibition match on that shit,
Yeah.
I
Yep.
would basically go against the best. Even though I'm not that great, I find it fun to go against actual runners than it is against people who don't really run the games much. Because, I want to see them actually get into this sort of thing, and I want to see them actually be better than these guys in a way, if possible. But for now,
If you couldn't race the top 4 of each group, actually, I should have probably specified that because they're probably busy doing their own stuff. So more like basically 5 to 10 of each group. Who would you consider?
Yeah, because I was gonna say Wally, Nguyen, and Katie. I would probably go for.
Of course, yeah, they're all extremely good. So yeah. So they're assuming that they're doing their runs are like away because especially
Well,
Chris
to be
and Katie's
honest, Wally would definitely
case.
be doing his runs once I do Enter the Dragonfly and beat his fucking world record. But yeah, I'm gonna be fucking heating up that fucking bullshit. But
Hell yeah.
I would say when it comes to people who are not going through this tournament, people who are basically eliminated, I would say I would verse King Europe 1 because he's a great lad and he'll be fun verse. You, because I know I can beat you.
Yeah, I'd love to see that.
Funny.
That would be funny.
And Desert Monkey JK, because even though he was manipulated in IS-10, I still wanted to pay back for him being.
I was gonna say it's host versus host. Technically, the host games.
For helping me gain my fucking host status taken away from me in IS-10. Even though I made the fucking tournament, and I started all the bullshit, and I did all the fucking graphics, and I tried to fucking hype the shit up and make it good. Yeah, I made a bit of a mistake. Yeah, I fucked up. But for fuck's sake, you throw me out because of fucking David being a cocksucker. Like, God.
Yes, this is all very, it's some classic IS shit. Jesus. ISGP and IS are far too close in acronyms. It's very confusing. Yes, yes, but retribution in speedrunning form, apparently. So what about Group C? Your thoughts on the social group, the group cock, group cringe, group some other words that we can't say here, probably.
Well, I'm not surprised by Wally and Toto because Wally is basically like a shitlord Spyro runner, and I think he's really fucking good at it, especially with basically knowing a lot of his shit, like skill points and such. I've been getting some help on some of the runs from him on routing and such, so he's been a very useful and fucking smart lad on that shit. Even though he was not able to be undefeated like Katie and such, and probably Toto at this point, with wins on all sides. And Toto is just a really good runner, so obviously he and Wally are really top tier, and their runs have been very funny and interesting. But Alan Barons I found to be very interesting in their standstill right now, especially the very fact that you are 5th right now, Crystal Fisher. You've been eliminated essentially with no chance.
I have been eliminated.
So
yes,
I was thinking you might go for like Angus, but unfortunately you did not. And Al is the reason for that.
Yeah, I'm a colossal fuck up.
I know. I think that's been well established with me that you are a colossal fuck up. But
it was an incredible scenes of failure. But you know what? Like, I'm a bit like you, where if Trob does his races, you probably won't make it through. But even if you don't, I think that overall I've had so much fun that to me it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, but there is one thing I can say.
It's been good.
There's one thing I can say between us. I've won more matches than you, so I'm better than you.
Have you actually? Hey, well, there we go. Hey, well, you also beat me in 40 wings. But yeah, hey, I definitely think we should do a Spyro 2 speedrun at some point. I think that would be good. That's my quote-unquote best game, even though I'm still technically shit at it, really. But I would love to do like a, I don't know, like some kind of, Yeah, maybe not even skill point run, but maybe I do really love 100% level runs. That's for some reason like one of my favorite things to do.
I mean,
just because it kind of takes away a lot of.
That'd be like about an hour or so, but Spyro 2 and 3 are gonna be a whole lot longer with that shit.
Exactly, especially if you add get all enemies, and that's one thing actually. Like in regards to that hour match because I was watching Ocean's 11, I didn't get to run through those levels where the enemies were, and I think that really fucked me over. It was obviously the Fracture Hills part that technically ended it for me, but it was actually, if you want to look back at the run, everything that slowed me down involved finding the last enemies. So that was definitely a pain. But what about some of the new runners? What about some of the new? Obviously, I know Toto and Wally are new, but like some of the new ISGP runners in Group C
like
as well,
Noel
such
and
as
Alice.
Noel, Alice, Ashley.
Honestly, I think when it came to Group C, from the very beginning, even near the very end, they have produced a lot of really fucking good matches. Like
Agreed.
you versus Noel, which was like the first match essentially.
Yes.
That caused quite a stir due to the draw thing. I think that was a very surprising and interesting match, and I think Group C.
And yet, go ahead.
I think Group C has been very exciting and interesting from the start. Not so much the middle, but at the end, they kind of came back in a way, and I think they have definitely been a very good group.
Yeah, and I mean, just to think that apparently Alice, you know, in not wanting to be upstaged by me and Noel, somehow pulls off one of the closest speedruns of all time, if not the closest, where it was apparently 1 frame difference between the egg animation, like the egg like logo at the top of the screen, and only 8 frames between the egg being captured, so to speak. Truly insane stuff. Alice versus Ashley. Absolutely, like you cannot script shit that good.
No, you can't. And I think when it comes to these newbies, they have really shown some pretty decent skill and some surprising results from it. So honestly, I think.
And we're not entirely looking for skill either. I mean, that sounds bad when you're talking about a speedrunning tournament, but it's like the thing is okay. Now, none of them could beat someone like Chris LBC, but that doesn't matter to us. You know, to us, that's secondary. Then it is having people at a similar skill race and have like photo finishes like that.
Yes, but to me, I think witnessing these guys doing these races and seeing how well they can actually play the game, even if they fuck up, they can still make some surprising runs, some exciting matches. And I think
absolutely
in that regard, some of these newbies, some of these new guys who have come in, have never really speedrun before, they actually have potential in my eyes to, you know, improve and become actual speedrunners if they want to. So this tournament has definitely shown some quite some fire with these guys, and I'm looking forward to see if that extends beyond this tournament to other things.
Yeah. Well, with this whole tag team stuff, I mean, this tournament has definitely been about getting new and old people to join forces and sort of create personalities, and that's obviously where the wrestling related inspiration comes from. This whole thing, you know, obviously Angus and I being fans of New Japan, it's like we've really emphasized the whole characters and personas and stuff like that, and I think that's why Group C in particular, I feel like has had some really strong input. And I think as well, you know, to bring up like representation and stuff like that, typically there aren't that many women in our tournaments. So it has been great to have 4 women that are all competitive and are all like, you know, having a good time and sort of providing a different sort of, just a different feel to the races. You know, it's not just a sausage fest, you know, this time.
Except
so I think
for Group B.
It's great. Group B is a total sausage fest. Yeah, that is a total sausage fest. But you know what? Hey, it's fine. But no, it's been great. And the tag stuff, the rumored tag stuff is going to be, I think that's really going to play on the dynamics started with this tournament. You know, it's gonna feel like a real continuation, and I think that the viewers are gonna stick around too for this tag tournament because I think it's a great idea merging people that have worked together in this tournament, or worked against each other, sorry, and yeah, get all these different matchups. So
I have seen like sort of tag team sort of speedruns and shit being done before, and they have been pretty fun and interesting.
Yeah.
Especially seeing one person who's really good at a fucking game and another person who isn't really that good, and seeing just how much they can communicate well, exchange their skills well, and make each other work together well in order to manage against other people in races and speedruns and such. I find that's going to be a very interesting thing to witness.
Yeah, well, apparently Toto, and this is going to be just the most crazy group ever, but apparently Toto might have enlisted Bucci from the Spyro Speedruns community.
I know the motherfucker
Bucci,
from Ape Escape Speedrun Discord.
Yeah.
So
yeah. She's like a Spanish chick. So that's going to be, I'm very excited. But yeah, moving on from that, we will talk about that very soon, I'm sure. One last thing, whether you make it to your group or not, last words. Let's talk about T-Rob HD and what it means if he doesn't do his races. What are your thoughts on all this?
Tough shit. Basically, with Trob, I mean, I did lose to him because of my own fuck-ups trying to do this in the air and all that crap. I could have beaten him, but I do think he is a decent runner. But he has not been very active, and I find it to be kind of disappointing, especially in this fucking group, where some people have been pretty, like, lost, like Kiefer and such, like, for a few days and all that, like, not getting responses and shit.
Especially considering he's been inactive almost since we announced the fact that 4 can go through. Like, I find it kind of ironic that like he wouldn't even want to fight for his position he can basically easily get 3rd place. Like, no offense to everyone else, but he can pretty easily grab that spot.
Like, he can
especially
just grab
he beat
4th
Ratchet
place essentially and take me completely out of it, but he's not doing it, and I don't know why. And he hasn't given an explanation why. He's been kind of silent for a couple of days now with everybody. And all I have to say is that you beat me, motherfucker. You deserve to go through. But if you don't do your one fucking match against Chris or fucking Kiefer or whatever, tough shit, I'm going through and you're fucked. So either make the decision of doing one of your fucking races and taking me out, because I don't really deserve to be here with my standing, or you can just stay on your fucking throne for the next few days, not doing a fucking thing in your current standings, and letting me go through and take a lot of the glory going through and possibly, if lucky, getting close to grand final status, which you could have been if you didn't fuck up and not do any fucking matches and be a little lazy cunty bitch.
Boom. Well, I'm sure Trob's not going to watch this, but that was great. Great call out.
And one more fucking thing. Do you even fucking lift, Trob?
I get that one too. I understand that one too. Jeez. The beef is strong. All right. Let's wrap it up. Thanks, Zin. It was great. Great to have a chat. And good luck. Good luck. I guess it really is literally luck. It has absolutely nothing to do with skill at this point. But we'll see what happens. Thanks for joining me. It's been great. It's been great to pick your brain. And can't wait to see what you do, whether it's in an official, premiership points scenario or an exhibition match or whatever the hell we decide to do. So thanks for watching, guys, and I shall see you later.
See ya.
Goodbye.